It's been nearly 2 years since I quit my Max Inferno account to start from scratch with the goal of completing the entirety of old school RuneScape. There's only 3 more skills until I've got that max cape back, and I probably could have got it by now if I didn't spend nearly 1,000 hours on getting every single piece of the Castle Wars armor set, as well as an extra set to build a Castle Wars armor stand. All in all, I farmed over 7,000 tickets, and yes, I know that you can sell back the pieces to get your tickets back, but when I say I'm completing RuneScape, I don't just mean going for the biggest number in the collection log. One of the longest tasks I have is to create the best house possible, which means building all of the weird but expensive things like the golden kitchen sink, which costs 150 mil. It's a literal gold sink. And it's not just all of the weird things I have to build either. It also means filling all of the various armor cases and wardrobes, which is where the main Castle Wars goal comes in. And I'll talk more about that later on. In my last video, I got myself 99 thieving through pyramid plunder and vias, getting myself the scepter and some blood shards along the way. I went quite dry on blood shards, but luckily I was able to do some herb runs on the side and still made over 100 mil. I also greenlogged the worm course and completed a bunch of new quests in order to re-obtain the quest cape once again. There's a ton of cool champions and boss fights in this game. Sun Wukong has to be my favorite, he's an absolute beast. So thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video, and special thanks to Universal Studios licensing. In fact, Raid Shadow Legends is partnering with Universal Products and Experiences and Mattel to bring you He-Man and Skeletor to the game as legendary champions, so you can live out your nostalgic childhood fantasies. Everyone can get the legendary champion Skeletor for free. He's a nefarious trickster, extending debuffs, sealing his enemies in stone and reducing their turn meter. You can get Skeletor simply by logging into Raid on 14 days between November 25th and January 8th. You'll get Skeletor on day 7 and extra bonus rewards for the next 7 days after that. Start by December 25th to make sure you've got enough time to log in each day to get Skeletor and all of the other goodies. You can also complete the Champions Pass to get the legendary champion He-Man. He's a truly mighty warrior, enhancing his own attack before destroying any evil that stands before him. If you haven't played yet, then what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description or scan my QR code to get bonuses available only via my link. You'll get a huge starter pack with the epic champion Tagoar, then at level 15 you'll get another starter pack that includes an epic Grizzled Jarl from the Dwarves faction. You can also use the promo code Monkey King to get the legendary champion Sun Wukong for free, although the promo code is only available until the end of November, so be quick. You can find me under the name Saint Sheba and join my clan too, it's called Sheba Saints. I'm gonna start by selling off all of the loot that I got in between uploads, and most of this has come from herb runs and Nightmare Zone boxes, and after selling everything I was left with a clean cash stack of 450 mil. You'll see this cash stack throughout certain points in the video and you can see just how fast it plummets. Construction is not cheap at all, unfortunately. Before I buy all of the Castle Wars armor to store in the house, I first gotta build one. And so I may as well make my first purchase, which is a whole bunch of mahogany planks. I'm going to speed through mahogany homes as quick as possible for all of the log slots. And if you've never done this before, basically you just fill out construction contracts in certain towns across the game. You get rewarded with points, which can be spent on the skilling outfit, an equipable saw, a plank sack, and some supply crates. After just a few level ups, I got myself 2.2k total, which unlocks some new worlds and means I'm only 77 levels away from maxing. At least until sailing comes out anyway. I then bought the plank sack. It's pretty self-explanatory and it's a nice quality of life item to have for this construction method because you don't have to bank as often, which simply means the XP rate goes up. For my setup doing this, I basically just had NPC contact runes, some teleports to get around the map, graceful, my equipable Imkando hammer, and whilst I did have a stamina pot in my inventory for quite a while, I never really ended up using it because I'm 99 agility, and after each contract you get offered a cup of tea which fully restores your run energy, which is quite nice. After a bunch more contracts and levels, the next log slots I bought from the shop was the Carpenter set, which is the skilling outfit for construction and gives a small XP boost. I also bought one of the supply crates too, as that's a log slot. And these supply crates are quite nice for Iron Men or people wanting to do construction a lot cheaper, as they give back some planks and steel bars amongst some other bits. And it's quite a good way to stretch out the supplies that you do have. The last couple of items I needed from Mahagony Homes was the Hesidius blueprints and Amy's saw. A nice item to have as it can be equipped and saves an inventory slot for more planks. And something I didn't know about construction was that the estate agent can only hold one set of blueprints for you. They're not like a permanent upgrade, at least during the making of this video, so when I gave him the Hesidius blueprints, he gave me back the League's ones. And having a look inside the house, I kinda prefer it to the pitch black theme that the League's one has, so I'll put those blueprints back in the bank for now until I decide what to do with them. But yeah, that's Mahagony Homes Greenlogged, and immediately after doing that, I decided to go to Castle Wars and finally hand in all of my tickets. And unlocking all of these items all at once was one of the biggest dopamine hits this game has ever given me. I remember as a kid wanting these armor sets so bad. I'd be running around in Castle Wars in my full rune set and my dragon longsword getting frozen constantly by everyone with ancients, but I was having the time of my life. If you're new to my channel, you may be wondering how I got all of these tickets, and the vast majority of them was done with alt accounts, just like how everyone else does it. You basically go to any world that isn't occupied, you put both of your accounts in the Guthix portal, which splits them up, you cap the flag on the account you want the most tickets on, and then AFK for the majority of it. And to get around the 5-minute logout timer, you can turn on the logout timer plugin in RuneLite and set it to 25 minutes instead. Meaning, once you get the hang of speedrunning the flag, you normally have like an 18-minute AFK window. I'd normally set up games when I was going to go and have dinner or doing virtually anything else like video editing. But don't get me wrong, I've also played quite a lot of normal games as well. I've played quite a fair amount with my clan for events. I did some when Jagex put on community events themselves, and I joined in on quite a lot of casual games when there was a lot of people on at the weekend too. And whilst everyone does boost this minigame for the collection log, there is actually a dedicated underground community that plays tournaments with each other as well. You can normally find some of those videos on YouTube. After buying every single item individually, you may notice that I have an extra 1,800 tickets, and this is because I need an extra medium helmet, plate body, and kite shield. Which yeah, I get that it seems kinda dumb, but there's something I need in order to build a Castle Wars Armour 3 stand. You've probably never even heard or seen one of these before, and that's because I don't think there's probably that many people in the game who have built one. I mean, why would you? Before I do build that particular stand though, I've got to finish off 99 construction next. And the method I decided to do was Teak benches. They're fairly fast XP, at least once you get the rhythm down anyway, and despite all of the updates that Jagex has made to construction, I still find it pretty clunky to control. Although, as much as it does ruin your hands, at least it's really quick to do. I could have done mahogany tables instead, which is like 1 million XP an hour, but as you can see, my cash stack is already hurting quite a lot at this point. Teak benches are fast enough anyway, to be honest. I remember getting like 500 to 600k XP an hour depending on how much I was concentrating. And a little over a dozen hours later, I got myself 99 construction. It's just 2 more skills left now until I get my second max cape. I sold off some of the mahogany planks that I had spare from Mahagony Homes and then went and bought the cape. This is a really useful one actually, just because of the sheer amount of teleports that it has. But yeah, I sat down on those teak benches that I just spent hours training on and then started to put a draft plan together on how I was going to lay out my house. And it meant removing all of the random rooms that I had built for various diary tasks and basically just starting from scratch. Then, once I had the room layout that I wanted, I got to work building all of the foundations that all good modern RuneScape houses have, like the ornate pool. And fun fact, there's a couple of cosmetics that you can add to this one. The first being the goblin decorations, which I think came from a Christmas event. And then the second one being the Trailblazer ornament pool, which just sets it on fire, which is the one I'll be using. Then it was the jewelry box, which is super handy for getting around the game, as well as the portal nexus. I'm just building the frame for this at the moment, and I'll be filling it up with every single teleport very soon. I then built the Fairy Ring Spirit Tree combo, and then I went to get all of the materials for the Occult Altar. One of which I have to buy from Eblis, or Iblis, I'm not really sure how you pronounce his name, but anyway, another fact about this guy is he has a one-time dialogue to sell you an ancient staff, which I hadn't done yet, so that's essentially 80k down the drain to tick off another completionist task that only I care about. The Occult Altar is quite pricey, but it's so nice being able to change spellbook in one location. And yeah, that's the foundations done. This is really the minimum people would consider for a maxed house, as they're the most useful. But I'm nowhere near done. Next was the costume room, which is the entire reason I spent so long at Castle Wars, and it's also why I'm going to be spending even more hours than I should at various other minigames. Like for example the Angler Fishing set. One of the containers requires both the normal set and the Spirit Angler set. There's every colour of the rune crafting robes, every graceful set. There's even an extra duplicate fishing rod from aerial fishing that isn't in the collection log that I completely forgot existed, and the only difference is that it's oiled. There's also multiple copies of Void sets, multiple Void helmets, and just a ton of dupes that I'm going to have to go for. And whilst you probably don't care about filling these containers yourself, I do recommend that you build them because they're a great way to save bank space. I started emptying tons of items from my bank into here as soon as I built them, including all of the items from Castle Wars, Trouble Brewing, all of the random event items, skilling outfits that I don't use anymore, and some quest clothing amongst some other random pieces of armour. I then spent a bunch of marks that I stacked up and bought 7 full sets of Graceful at once. I then went over to Zaya so that I could recolor every single piece individually, and by this point you should be able to see that I'm dumping tons of hours into this game, and if you're enjoying all of the stupid grinds that I set for myself, then do subscribe. I'm going to be putting out tons of content next year and already have some in the works, like stacking 10,000 easy caskets on my old account, and more. Anyway, I do wish this NPC would recolor an entire set at once because it was kind of annoying having to do each one individually. But it was time well spent because look at that bank tab. It's just too bad they're not staying in the bank though. I didn't build this house for nothing, so into the wardrobe they go. I do still have some marks left as I do need to buy some more graceful sets like the quest speed running one, the recolor from Sepulchre, and one of the league sets, which I'll probably buy with my points from the upcoming leagues. I also found and dumped a bunch more sets into the cabinet, so more skilling sets, lots of miscellaneous sets, as well as every single Shazian armor piece from each tier. I also did a quick sprint around the game, buying all of the skill capes that I forgot to buy, and all of these are going into the cape rack, which, again, if you need bank space, then I recommend you build this one too. There's only a few useful skill capes that you need in your bank, and it also stores all of the skill cape HUDs, which take up a lot of room too. And next up was Dayango. Luckily, all of the holiday items are automatically stored in your house, but there's actually a few random ones that you need to purchase yourself from his shop, including the April Fool's Cabbage Cape, the toy cats that were from an old charity event, amongst some other things. Something I've had in my bank and claimed a while back are the Mystic cards. These came from an ARG that Jagex put on during the Shattered Relics League. But you can claim these for yourself for free from Dayango. He's got a redeem code option which I'll put on screen for you, and I'll leave a link to the wiki page in the description. Also, for what it's worth, there aren't any other codes to redeem anymore as they're all unlocked by default now, like the Runefest shield and emote, as well as the cow home teleport animation. Another cosmetic item that you can get for free from Dayango though is the banana hat, which came from the designer hat competition that Jagex put on once. And with all of those claimed, I've now completely filled the toy box container, which isn't saying much because the other ones are much harder to finish. The next thing I did for the house was fill that portal nexus, which was quite expensive to do, coming in at around 13 mil. Another armor set that I need for one of the containers is the White Knight set, which also doubles up as a Falador diary task as well. Basically, you kill Black Knights in order to increase your White Knight rank, and after hitting 1300 points, you're basically able to buy everything and you're considered a master. And with whilst Gothic sleeps, you're able to kill the elite Black Knights for increased points, which makes this grind even faster. I remember doing this on my old account in the Tavoli dungeon with a cannon, and I remember it taking forever. After getting all of the points, I bought my armour from Surviving and put the elite black armour in the case as well. Another random set is the Ardoon Knight set, and whilst I'm sure you probably know about this set, you may not know about the Ardoon Knight plate legs. These are only available to 1 defense pures who are taking on Song of the Elves. You also can't re-obtain them after the quest either, essentially locking people out of buying them, which sucks. I think Jagex should allow anyone to get them really, but there is a workaround. You could store seal plate legs in their place, but the Ardoon Knight plate legs would still be nice to have. A few other strange armor sets to get are the ones that you obtain from the various Crack the Clue events that Jagex has put on in the past. I'll put the wiki guides in the description for these. The first one I'm going for is the Corrupted Armor set. And for this one, you just need to talk to various NPCs around the game with very specific items in your inventory, and they'll give you the armor. The full set looks quite nice as it's a little bit transparent and it looks quite unique. I already had the original Crack the Clue outfit from when I first started the account and went to Wintertop, so I'll skip that one and move on to the Ornate Armor set next. For this one, you just dig in certain locations around the map or do emotes on certain tiles. It really only takes like 5 minutes to get this, and it's another unique set that looks really good, although I'm not really a fan of the helmet. Then the last Crack the Clue set I'm going for is the Robes of Ruin and the Infinite Money Bag. This one works the same as the last, where you dig in certain locations for the pieces, although there's an easier way where you just buy 28 specific items and dig next to the water altar in the Lumbridge Swamp. You'll then get a special clue which you can't pick up, but it is tied to your account. Luckily, I'm doing this way far in the future, and some people who are much smarter than me managed to decipher what the clue actually meant. You have to do over a dozen emotes in a very specific order in the Varrock basement, and then the wise old man will greet you and teleport you in. Then you loot all of the chests for the Robes of Ruin, which look like a cheap version of Virtus. And you also get the Infinite Money Bag, which, yeah, it does have infinite money, if you're willing to take it out 1 coin at a time. There is also a unique helmet as well that can be found by digging near the Ardoon Monastery, and this helmet existed for well over a year before people managed to figure out how to find it. And if you examine the helmet, it'll tell you the name of the first player to find it, being Pikachu Yip, and this one also goes in the armor case as well. Next up, I started filling in some of the rooms like the League's Hall with the pedestals, the cabinet, and the ornate statue. And this room is the entire reason why I need to play every Leagues that comes out. I need to get all of the dragon trophies to fill these pedestals and cabinets, and I'm also going for every pet too, as they carry over between Leagues. I'm going to be playing as soon as it launches on the 27th, and I'll be streaming as much as possible, so come follow me over on Twitch. I'm only going to be making one video on the League's progress, and that'll be when it ends in January, so I highly recommend you come and watch the streams. It's twitch.tv/SaintShebaRS. I then started building the workshop and more bits in the achievement gallery. I then built the pet room and upgraded the house to store all of the pets, which saved me even more bank space. And then I built the combat room and my bookcase. And this thing is yet another completionist task, as when you open it, you'll notice missing entries for books that you can find all around the map. You can find a bunch in the farming guild inside random crates. There's also libraries like the one in Prif that have a big selection of books. And there's also a library at the top of the Myths Guild as well. You can find some in really random places like Temperos, the new Alderan wine store, above one of the banks in Varlamore. You can find them on random corpses in quest locations or Slayer caves, tables in houses, or my favourite being the one on Fossil Island, where the only way to get it is to feed some breadcrumbs to a bell shroom to be teleported into a hidden area with a guy called Charles Charlington, which opens another can of worms being the Fossil Island tasks and the notice board, but I'll talk about those in another video. But yeah, you just use these on the bookshelf and it'll permanently store and unlock them. The next thing I wanted to do was a couple of quick TOAs to grab some bucks that I was missing, as well as making sure to grab all of the MVP items from all of the bosses. These are all used in a secret hidden mini quest, which you could start by using a camulet on the bank camel, then taking the MVP items to various NPCs and locations around the map, at which point you're given a secret ancient key which unlocks a hidden room at the end of the raid and awards you the Mask of Rebirth, which coincidentally goes into the magic wardrobe that I built. After that, I did a mad dash building all of the new stash units that came into the game, and then all of the elite stash units, which I couldn't build until now. I'm not going to be building all of the master stashes just yet, simply because I don't do master clues right now. I've stacked every single clue I've ever done, and I haven't opened a single one yet, so I don't really get any master clues often enough. And now, this is what we've all been waiting for, the haul for skilling trophies. I stuffed the harpoon fish and put it up on the wall. I created a rune armor set stand. But yeah, I'm going to officially declare my house open and ready for business. Not by cutting a red tape or anything like that, but building the most pointless object in the game that nobody cares about other than myself, the Castle Wars Armor 3 stand. I gotta say, it does look incredible, and I don't think I've ever seen one in game before. I'm not finished with my house either. I'm probably not even 10% of the way there yet. I still have to get all of the boss jars to fill that case. I gotta put some more dragon trophies on the pedestals. I have to fill the rest of the slots in the containers, along with finding the rest of the bucks for my stupid bookcase. But I'm happy with where I am at the moment, and I've said it a few times in recent videos, next year is going to be absolutely incredible with much faster progress and uploads. I really recommend watching the streams for when Leagues drops. I'll be playing that until it ends, and then it's just full steam ahead. Finishing off the max cape, getting my inferno cape, my quiver, along with hopefully finishing off the 2000 TOA kill count grind, amongst many other things. So it's dopamine tab time again, and this has changed quite a bit. All of the pets and the dragon trophy are now stored in the house. I've spent all of the Castle Wars tickets too, but I've got a new addition and a goal that is going to fill in the gap, which is my new Caramboine stack. I've decided that my next big AFK goal is going to be fishing 1 million of these, which I'm then going to one-tick cuck for 200 million cucking XP. I only need 980,000, but I figure 1 million looks much better. The clue casket stacks should also increase quite a bit with this grind, as you get tons of clues from them as well. And here's a bonus clip for everyone who has made it to the end of the video. That's me, I just got another fishing pair. Oh my god. I was looking at the Leagues reveals. I just got my second fishing pair. I'm just AFKing. I'm coming up with a Leagues plan. Oh, hell yeah. Second fishing pair. I only got one like 1 million XP ago. Nice. You know what's crazy about this? I just logged in. Is it welcome to old school RuneScape? Join your clan chat channel. And then I joined. When I did one trip, I emptied the fish sack barrel. I came back, instantly get a pet. What a nice way to log in. You just get a pet within 5 minutes. Nice, I love it. Maybe I'll see a couple more fishing pets by the time I've finished this 1 million Caramboine goal. And before I talk about what I'm up to in the next video, I want to give a quick thank you to all of my channel members. Misks and Hemrick the Epic at the supporter tier, and a special thank you to I Am Chomp and Kay at the benefactor tier. I'd also like to give a thank you to Luffy Trace as well as Dash Inc. for the recent super chats on the channel. You guys are the best, and I really do appreciate the support. Thank you so much. The next couple of completionist videos should be on screen. One will be the Big Leagues video that shows my entire journey getting the dragon trophy and hunting all of the pets. And then after that, I'll be continuing the maxing grind by going for 99 rune crafting at Guardians of the Rift, and hopefully greenlogging it too. If those videos aren't ready yet, I'll link back to my 1 year progress video instead. And don't forget to use my Raid Shadow Legends link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses for new players with 2 epic champions.